educators and
I just got the recording going. Most are probably the teachers. You may have some administrators in here.
yes, good stuff. Well, welcome everyone. In 1 minute, I think we have a little bit of a countdown and we can get started.
And I'll keep letting them in. Here in a minute.
Okay.
Amina and Joel, you ready to roll?
We are ready to roll. We can roll.
Awesome. Well, welcome back, everybody. The students are amazing. And we have a great session here. Me and Joel are super excited to share from Jumpstart. And so I'm going to get them the rest of the floor so they have time. Just so the team knows here, I'll drop in attendance in about 15 minutes. And then about 5 minutes to go with the session, I'll drop in the survey for the session itself. So enjoy. Me and Joel enjoyed getting to know you before. Have fun. They're from the Wisconsin and back in Washington, D.C. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, I will kick off. I am Amina Carter. I am with the Jumpstart Coalition. I serve as the Director of Operations and Marketing. I'm really excited to be here with my colleague, Joel Chrysler, who is also on our team, and he will be co-presenting. I'm going to kick the ball over to him as well to introduce himself, but we are excited to participate in sharing some resources with you all today. We're calling this presentation is the Resource Roundup. And I'll go through a little bit more of what you'll get in the presentation as we open up, but I am going to move over. So I allow my colleague to introduce himself and we can get started. Joel.
Well, thanks, Amina. Yeah, I'm Joel Chrysler. I'm a teacher at Stockbury High School in Wisconsin, Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin. We're about 25 miles away from the capital city of Madison. I've been teaching for 33 years. And I made the decision that this will be my final year in the classroom. Jumpstart has offered me a position. The last 2 years, I've been working with Dan Hebert, who many of you probably know, on the National Educators Conference. And my role will expand beyond that. And I will also be involved in a new initiative called Check Your School, which I'll be talking about at the end of the presentation. So really happy to see everybody. Thank you for giving up a Saturday. But this is a great month with Financial Literacy Month, and we're glad that you're here, and we hope that you can get some really, really good information today.
Yes. So what we will do is begin our presentation and start sharing our screen, and forgive all of the techie good stuff so we can start from the beginning and move you guys over. So welcome to the Resource Roundup. We're just going to go through some of our resources, and Joel and I will tag team, and I wanted to always set up, I don't do monologues. I love a dialogue. So if there are questions that you have along the way, we'd love for you to put them in the chat or do the raise hand, and we will definitely bring you in if you feel comfortable, as many as possible while we are in the session, and welcome any feedback that you have. So let's get started. Give me 1 second to move this out of the way here. All right. So we are going to start just giving an opportunity for, us to discuss your needs as financial educators amongst your peers and us who are serving as your facilitators today. We are sharing a list of resources that you can share in your classrooms and beyond, and to have some open discussion and dialogue about that, and maybe even introducing you to organizations and programs, and understand how they may differ. Some you may have heard of, and possibly some you may not have heard of. And so we just want to share some of these with you, and also have you discuss some things that may be working for you in your classrooms, and things you may also want to see. And there are we're going to share some live demos of some of the resources that we wanted to share with you today. Just a little funny first, like to keep a little levity. So let's get into it.
What's the best thing that you could spend your money on?
Candy? No.
Uh-huh. You know what money is.
Yeah. I have a lot of money in my boot.
In your room?
No, in my boot.
In your boot?
It's like a piggy bank, except it's a boot.
Oh, so I will put my money in this. Okay. High five for that. We'll begin with Justina. What prize do you want?
The big glasses.
That'll be 8 tickets, please.
I don't have enough.
We have a situation. I could give you the glasses if you choose to take out a loan. That means I'm gonna lend you 2 tickets, but then you have to come back to my house next week with 9 tickets. Here to explain more about that is New York Times bestselling author Beth Kobliner.
Hey guys. Kate's offer may sound great, but be careful when you borrow. It can cost you lots of extra tickets come payback time. See you later.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Everyone's got an idea.
I
What do
want
you
to
think?
be a meteorologist
TV or radio? What do you think?
on TV.
She wants to be on camera.
One of my friends, when she grows up, she wants to be a gadgetator. Do you know how little mommy birds, they swallow the food first and then they give some to their babies?
Mhm.
That's what my friend wants to do when she grows up. She wants to be a gadgetator.
I wonder if that's a BFA or just a VA. What is a credit card?
It spends money. You really slide it in this machine when you buy stuff. Hold it with your 2 fingers and whoop, like this. Whoop. No, like that. No, like this. Whoop. No, like this. Whoop. We want to get pizza.
I know you want to get pizza. We will have pizza so soon. We just have to talk about one thing. Would you rather eat 1 bite of pizza now or a whole slice later? Before you answer, here is Beth Kobliner.
Waiting is an important skill. When you wait, you can save up for something you really want, like a slice of pizza.
I wanted my pizza now. Did you guys learn anything?
No. I did. I did.
What did you learn, Justina?
I learned that money's important. Wait, actually, I learned that money's important too. I learned that money is actually very good to spend on stuff.
Steph. They got it.
Well, thank you for bearing with the funnies. I hope that that was a little bit of levity to get us going this morning. But I think what was important to share is that there are so many themes that were in this video to discuss. And I'm sure that you are either having conversations in your classrooms and or sharing resources and creating content and curriculum around. And so we want to share some of the resources that we have in what is called our Jumpstart Clearinghouse. And for those of you who may be new to Jumpstart, if you are familiar, I know that we have a clearinghouse with which hosts hundreds of resources, and that some of our partners and interested parties upload these vetted resources to our clearinghouse for sharing and learning opportunities. And so one of the Smart Path is one of the lesson plan and resources that we are currently hosting in our clearinghouse. What I wanted to also have you all do is, if there are ones that you want to share in the chat, please do that, because I want to have a conversation about some of the things, and Joel can also attest and jump in to talk about, and we've included some of the links below. Being inclusive, specifically creating resources and having resources that are catered to differently abled. We want to make sure to include and have varying supports and resources that will be able to be utilized in these spaces. So this particular lesson supports students, I say differently abled, with different abilities. So Smart Path Learning is one of the tools. If you've used, let us know in the chat. We are so I apologize. I have something that's covering this up. Can you all see that? I apologize. And some of these resources that we are actually using from the clearinghouse, one of the important things to note is these are partner resources, right? And if you know, for us, Jumpstart is powered by our partners and our state coalitions, and they are our stakeholders here. So what they are promoting and the work that they're doing is super important. So from social justice, there are many discussion points here. And what things, are you all looking for to have? I think there's some, questions that may be asked for newer teachers. Some of the things you may need are looking for in terms of resources. Definitely feel free to drop that in the chat, or that you see that need improvement. One of our partners, Bonsai, is working with students who are in the junior high level. And if you would also do me a favor, drop in the chat what level, if you are an instructor, what level you teach, what school level or class age that you are teaching, because we've presented some resources that come from different age groups so that you all have an idea of what is being presented in the clearinghouse. So it's not just we have elementary, there are a myriad of things that we have that you can tap into. And Joel, I can't see the chat, just a note.
Yep.
So
We've got a lot of elementary, there are a couple of middle school, but it looks like primarily elementary.
Yeah, and from the first video, which is interesting, introducing some of those concepts in terms of delayed gratification, understanding at which level to introduce these concepts to. I don't know, in your experience, what, Joel, have some of the things that you've seen in your classroom that have worked in terms of the different age groups, and when you're introducing what concepts at what times, if you want to kind of pop in and let us know.
And I think another really important thing about the clearinghouse, and I'll talk a little bit about this later, but it's gone through a revamping. So if you've been in there in the past, within the next couple of weeks, basically a whole new version of it will be out there, be a lot easier to search. And what I think is so important for elementary teachers is, you're looking to embed a lot of these lessons into things you're doing, whether it's reading, whether it's math, whether it's a social studies curriculum, and we will help you through the searches that you do, help show you where they can be embedded into those classes.
Absolutely. So from, borrowing, emergency funds, and interest and fees, that would not necessarily be the content you'd share with the beginning group of students. However, it definitely is something that may be needed a little bit later. I'm sure as instructors that many of personal finance and whether it's home economics have heard of Junior Achievement. This is one of their programs, More Than Money. And which is an elementary resource, because we have a myriad of partners, about 100 or more, we tend not to lean towards suggesting that you use a particular one, but there are so many that are really good. And so, sharing some of the more popular ones and seeing how they may be working in your classrooms is something that we'd love to hear more about. As an advocacy organization who is looking to hear more about what is working in the field, we want to be able to utilize your voices as well, your experience and testimonies, and letting us know what is serving you currently. So the JA, and also if you have any questions, we definitely would be willing to share some of these resources if you need more information on them. So JA is one that has the elementary, level resources. Okay, so as a grown woman, this is actually one of my favorite resources, and I don't know why I absolutely adore the characters here. But one of the things that I found about, and I'm sure as teachers, instructors, and educators, that finding different ways and modalities to present financial literacy resources important and able in order to assist in the different ways that the students learn. And I found that The Sensibles, which is a cartoon that you can find on thesensibles.com, they have these series. And what also to note, in the Jumpstart Clearinghouse, we have free and paid resources. So some of these resources do come with a fee, but this is one of the fun ones. I really do enjoy their lessons and the way they appeal visually in terms of their content. And I just would share just a bit. I won't play a lot, but just so that you can see the characters.
Where I live, trouble comes without warning.
Leaping lug nuts. Look at that.
It takes many forms. Madmen and monsters, all with mayhem in their hearts. Who will save us?
So if you have students who love cartoons and engaging visuals that mimic what they are used to watching already, really helps to pull them in a little bit more. And I don't know if your children, like mine, have this heavy engagement to these devices, that we are able to kind of supplement what it is that they're doing aside from their video games and other things that they entertain themselves with, that these also will fit in as really unique but familiar ways in which they can engage useful content in the ways of personal finance and personal finance lessons. And this is another resource. And Joel, if you will, I don't know if there are any testimonials or things. I'd love to kind of integrate some of the discussion that we're having or questions that we're asking, because I can't see if any of you all have used any of these particular resources in your experience, and if some of them are new, or you have some that you want to share. And I want to continue to say that because this is a collaborative thing. And I know, in terms of, Jumpstart, sharing information is what it is that we are looking to do, but also having the ability to collaborate and use the information interchangeably between us. So BusyWhiz is another one of our partner organizations that utilizes their information as well, that you can find on our Jumpstart Clearinghouse.
We just have one comment that says, "This is all new to me." So that's from Ashley, and so give them some great resources here.
And I think that is what we wanted to do. And I think that adding new information, even though financial literacy and personal finance has been around a long time, there are emerging new, concepts that are coming and that they're updating what's happening in the world. And so I love that we are able to share these things, and that both seasoned and new educators are able to be similarly in the space. I'm going to, I won't play this particular video. I just wanted to share some multimedia experiences that you all can engage with and see some of the content that we do host, so that you are able to understand that we do, have a myriad and a different kinds of content that you can engage with on the site. I apologize. I think I actually accidentally skipped over the bank game. And I actually like that one because it actually was a video game, Break the Bank, which is for a higher level, where The Sensibles is a cartoon and it teaches through lessons through the cartoon in and of itself, where they present the lessons and show it more visually, where this game is actually interactive, and it shares with the student the ability to kind of move money and do things, so that they have a more interactive experience, so that they can learn how to actually utilize their money and see it in action. So Break the Bank is a part of the Biz Kids, which is also one of our partner organizations. As well as books, which are really useful. So Io's Money Jar book is one of the resources that we host as well. As well as Io's Had Enough. I'm going to play this one a little bit. So Money Smart from FDIC. Here's a little bit of a snippet.
Money Smart for Young People provides a comprehensive, developmentally appropriate program for young students to build an understanding of key financial concepts. There are many features that help make the Money Smart curriculum engaging, motivating, and easy to use. Each lesson includes learning objectives, essential questions, needed supplies, and the required preparation, as well as features and components to support easy integration of Money Smart activities into your instructional day.
Let's take a practical look at how to facilitate a lesson for students in grades 3 to 5. We'll demonstrate the activities found in Lesson 2, Get Set for Goals. In this lesson, you'll focus on short and long-term goals as they relate to saving with real-world examples. Students then set their own savings goals, and they'll also explore factors such as advertising and peer pressure that might influence their decisions to spend or save money.
The overview page contains a snapshot of the entire lesson and identifies where to locate the answer key, key terms, and standards connections. Each lesson follows this common format, so let's take a look at it.
So I just wanted to share that there are lesson plans as well for those who want to use this as supplemental learning plans if you want to. And for me, I don't function as an actual educator, classroom educator, of course, but I do have a child. And so that these have served, me in the time that I've been with Jumpstart as a way to use during summer enrichment to keep him connected to classroom and to, keep him deeply engaged in things other than, keeping him primed to return back to the classroom. So if you're looking for additional curriculum assistance and having those things that you can download actual worksheets and things that are usable in real time to be able to use in classrooms or in other areas that you may be looking to do that. Another one of our partners is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I love. And, I'm gonna bounce this over to you, Joel, just to talk a little bit about this part, but why learning now in this day that students are more interested in creating businesses. And I don't know what you've seen and what classroom, the environment is in your classrooms around business, because I do know that the children do love money. And so that there are resources that assist in being able to help students explore entrepreneurship is really an important factor as well in talking about personal finance, not just credit cards and savings and debt, but really expanding and keeping it relevant for what's happening in today's classroom.
Yeah, and it's just funny because when you look at the word entrepreneurship, first of all, just being able to say it without stuttering is a big success if you can do that. But kids do. They're interested in money. They see their parents, or they see an aunt or an uncle that's doing well, and especially ones that own their own businesses. And there's a lot of interest out there for doing that. And so through the CFPB, and there's other resources as well that will talk about that. What's it going to take to make your dreams kind of into a reality and be able to have some fun with it too. But I like how this one ties in with the previous one about just, setting goals for yourself. And if this is a very strong goal that you have, something that you want to do, something that's been embedded in your brain by your parents or relatives, entrepreneurship is a great thing. And this is where we find the creativeness just flowing in young kids. So
absolutely. and their desire to do it is just emerging and fast growing. So I do love that we have the ability to provide spaces for them to learn more there. They also have a exploring saving and spending game. That's one that I have used because while children love to spend the money, they're not always apt to understanding the value of it, which is what you all are sharing in the classrooms are the myriad of ways to kind of utilize money for the future. So there is that. And because we have, fortunately, a lot of elementary teachers, a lot of these, which we tend to have more of when we are engaging educators, that the Federal Reserve Board also has, that they have curriculum and content related to this particular demographic. And as you can see, some of the things on the bottom that they offer lesson plans, courses, so that you are able to engage in different ways in your particular classrooms. I'm going to kind of segue a little bit and bounce this over to you, Joel, and I will advance as you need. I'll be your person.
All right. I want to say one quick thing about the Federal Reserve Board. If any of you were with us at the NEC last year in Atlanta, especially if you're a first-time attendee, the Fed has just so many resources, and they want those resources to get out there. So please take advantage of that. Check that out. Check their website out, and you're going to find some great things. But for me, my part here is just the idea of making use of the Jumpstart Clearinghouse. And for you as teachers, I really think the best thing is just to spend some time, dive in a little bit. And if you just go out and you just do a Google search for resources, the problem is it's so intimidating because there's so much out there. Where this actually puts it into a concise area. You can break it down by subject, you can break it down by grade, you can break it down by whether or not there's a cost involved in it. And like I said, when you see the new clearinghouse, the updated clearinghouse, I think you're really going to get some great, the ability to get some very, very great resources. So it gives you that access to those resources. Once you kind of master that a little bit, I hope that you'll share that with your colleagues, because as a father of 3 daughters, one is a 4th grade teacher right now. Another one is graduating in May as an elementary special ed teacher. My 4th one's going into the medical, or my 3rd one's going into the medical field. So she's going a different route. But those two, the big question and concern they always have is, how do I fit this in? And where does it fit in? And that's where I think the clearinghouse is so valuable, because it will help you decide where it goes in. So once you get a master handle on that, if you can assist your colleagues with the huge amount of materials, I think that's going to be great too. But the other thing that I really am so impressed about is just how it really can help you to create opportunities to advocate for financial literacy, not just in your classroom, but out there as well. And what I did was I put this into use with something called peer-to-peer financial literacy. So meaning, go on to the next slide. And in 2009, I actually attended the very first National Educators Conference in DC, and I was absolutely blown away. I mean, I had been teaching since 1990. I taught a financial literacy class since that time. And I remember when I first was given the textbook to teach, nobody wanted to teach the course. And all I could think of is, how in the world is there no one that wants to teach this? As teachers, our dream is to have an impact on our students every single day. And with financial literacy, you're able to do that because they're going to be able to use those lessons. And so in 2009, I just kind of got another kickstart. This is so important, and what you're doing is really, really, really big. And so I wanted to advocate even more for financial literacy. And I started thinking, well, how can I do it? How can I get it? I've got it handled in the high school. So how can I pass that information on down to my elementary colleagues as well? Well, I started thinking about back when I was in high school. And one of the things that I always enjoyed doing was I really enjoyed, as a high schooler, going into elementary classrooms, whether it was reading a story. I think I taught basic aid training. I taught about the negative effects of smoke. I mean, any opportunity I could do that. So I thought, well, I wonder if kids still want to do that. So with my curriculum and with my students, I approached them. I said, hey, how would you like to take a lesson and take it into elementary classrooms? And that's where peer-to-peer financial literacy was born. And I know some of you are thinking, well, but we're elementary teachers. But I think that this, what I'm going to share with you, I'm hoping is going to be inspiration to maybe tap into some of those high school colleagues that you have and say, hey, we've got a great opportunity here to collaborate and team together. So maybe we can work together and make this happen. So we'll go on to the next slide. And so this program that I actually started it in 2010. And my students would travel to elementary classrooms to share a lesson. So based on whatever semester we were in, we might work with first graders, we might work with third graders or fourth graders. And everything from needs and wants to saving and investing, opportunity cost. And it just was, it took off. I had elementary teachers constantly contacting me saying, when can we get this started? When can we do this? My kids are looking forward to it. And so now what's great about it is that, over, with the exception of COVID, we got that after the 3-year hiatus, thanks a lot, COVID. But the students that I have that have done it actually had the lessons when they were kids. And so this year, what we decided to do after this 3-year hiatus, I wanted to do it one more time. As I told you, I'm retiring. So I thought, I want this program to at least kind of go off with a bang here. And so I set it up for this last trimester that my school is in right now. And Jumpstart decided to make it part of their Financial Literacy Month events. We were actually covered by one of our local TV stations. And if you want to play the video, here's what happened. Oh.
Do you see the screen? It's black here.
Black here on ours and too.
I was gonna say, if you want me to try to stop share and see if
I
you
can
can pull
I
it
can
up.
share mine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, I might have to go all the way through here, so bear with me.
No worries. We apologize. Just a little bit of a technical difficulty here.
Those silly YouTube videos sometimes.
That embedding. Let me know if you need me to try again. I can.
That's going to do this. All right. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second, Amina, and I'm going to just bring up the YouTube video and I'll see if that will just come up.
Okay, because I don't think I saw anything shared. Did you pull something up? It never showed on the screen.
Okay, and then maybe that was part of it, but let me see if I can just open up the video here.
Oh, wait. Okay. Look in the chat. Yeah. And if you have a Joel, if you have an opportunity, if you can just drop the link in the chat too, because some folks can look at it separately and we can have that as a part of some of the collateral that they can.
I'm going to see if I can screen share here. How about now? Does everybody see the?
Yep.
Is it out there?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
All right, here we go.
Savings accounts to investments, we all have to deal with money. A Stockberry teacher is working to help kids learn about finances starting in elementary school.
New at 10, Caroline Dade has you covered on the program bringing high school students into 4th grade classrooms.
The first one we're going to take a look at is opportunity cost. On Wednesday afternoon, fourth graders at Prairie du Sac's Grand Avenue Elementary were learning from different teachers. Logan Magnuson and Madeline Gassman were just two of the Sauk Prairie High School students teaching a bit about financial literacy.
We wanted to go on topics that, fourth graders could understand. So savings being one of the big ones, we thought it was really important.
Gassman is a senior now. But when she was younger, she went to Grand Avenue Elementary and says she was excited to give back to her old school. Magnuson is a junior who's passionate about finance, but knows it can be daunting to learn.
And I would say that I recognize the importance of like a friendly face, explaining things that seem really complicated, but can end up being simple if you recognize your independence and teach it in an engaging way.
Their teacher, Joel Chrysler, started having high schoolers teach in elementary schools about a decade ago, but he had to take a 3-year pause because of the pandemic. When the program started back up this year, Magnuson and Gassman got to teach in a special fourth grade class, Chrysler's daughters.
It's been nice to be able to come into her classroom today to do this.
And he says he sees the lesson on making smart money choices as a benefit for everyone involved.
Financial literacy at any age is perfect. And anytime that you can introduce concepts, anytime you can introduce talking to young kids about money and their financial future, it's going to be a win-win for everyone.
Chrysler says he doesn't want the learning to stop when the lesson ends. This year, the fourth graders' parents will get a toolkit they can use to continue conversations about investing and saving for college. Reporting in Prairie du Sac, Caroline Day, 27 News.
I'll stop sharing that. I mean, if you want to put yours back up, then we can do that. So that was just a little bit about the program that I do, and what is going to be made available over the next couple of weeks as well is, besides the toolkit that you heard about for parents, there's actually a toolkit for teachers as well, as far as to how to go about setting this up. And so one of the things that I really am hoping to do is get an opportunity to share this, whether it's an elementary teacher, how to contact your high school teachers and see if there would be interest in this. Like I said in the interview, I think it's a win-win. And your students are going to benefit. Elementary students think that high schoolers are rock stars. And so I just think that that's so important to get them in and share those lessons. And it just means so much. So if we go on to the next slide, this is just a real terrible view of the toolkit. But like I said, this will actually be eventually posted on the Jumpstart website. So if you are interested, you'll be able to do that. And again, if you'd like to contact me for more information, please feel free. So next thing, the last thing that we kind of wanted to mention here was just the one final resource. And this is fairly new for Jumpstart. It's called Check Your School. And it's, as it says, it's a public engagement campaign. And what we want is, we want parents, we want teachers, we want grandparents, we want community members. We want people to know what kind of financial literacy is being taught in the schools. And so this gives you access to virtually every school in the United States to find out what is being done there. If there's a graduation requirement, if it's part of the curriculum. And so this is going to be one of the roles that I'll be taking on, in the near future, is to make sure that if people have questions about their school district, that we get those questions answered. If they want to campaign to get financial literacy in the schools, again, that's where I will step in and I will help you to be able to contact administrators or school board members or whoever needs to be contacted to make these things happen. Because I think we're all here because we know that this is, without a doubt, the most important, the most important lessons that our students are going to learn. And the earlier we can get them started, the more successful they're going to be in the future.
Absolutely. Is there another slide?
There was one more.
Is it missing? I apologize. I'm going all fast.
No, it was just the quote there.
Oh.
She had after this one.
Well, I love this quote, and this is one of my favorites, and I think it's very relevant to this content in terms of what we know for those of us who did not have personal finance education, is that it's easier to do this on when we are talking to young people, as opposed to trying to do it in reverse. And we know as adults who may not have had this education, I know that I did not. I was one that learned very difficult about personal finance and financial literacy from the Student Center and signing up for my first Discover card and kind of eviscerating it and running it through the mill in almost a week. That it is a lot easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And of course, that just is basically giving the fundamentals from an earlier age than trying to work it backwards. So I think that both, I will allow, Joel to say his final parting words, but I think one of the most exciting parts of this is that we get to convene with what we call rock star teachers all the time. And that we're just want to, I know I won't always get an opportunity to say a heartfelt thank you for the work that educators do, and that as Jumpstart, as our organization, that we are continually finding ways to operate in a way that our work says thank you in the financial literacy and personal finance marketplace. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Joel.
And for me, again, working with the people that I have gotten to work with, getting to know some of the people, that might even, that are on this call. This is a calling that we all have, and we know that it's valuable. We know how important it is. I know right now at this point, Wisconsin is debating about making financial literacy a graduation requirement. My school district already has it, and I will be in Madison next week at the Capitol discussing it with our education committee about why it is so important. And if you feel that advocacy is important, please continue to drum that beat as much as you can. Continue to look for ways to implement and embed it in your classrooms. And one of the things that I made the commitment to Jumpstart is that even though I've been a high school teacher, one of the things that I've always felt has been missing has been more resources for elementary teachers. And so I want to make sure that if there's something out there that about, I'd love to hear about it. Or if you have questions or concerns, please reach out to me. I shared my email in the chat with you. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, and we'll make things happen.
Well, another heartfelt thank you. I'm going to stop sharing and see what we have in the chat with those of you who may have questions. And if you have any desire to reach, we are at www.jumpstart.org. You can get all of the information about who we are as an organization, as an advocacy, a nonprofit, and as one of the partners in supporting you all in doing the work that you do in the classroom. So that's definitely, we're looking forward to having more conversations. Thank you. I'm going to put this in the chat just so that you all have an opportunity to have that. And we can take any questions that you all may have, whether it's about the resources that you've seen, about the clearinghouse in and of itself. Do we have upper middle school resources? Yes, we do. This is the website. Let me also share that it's at Jumpstart Clearinghouse. Okay, so we're at the Jumpstart Clearinghouse. I apologize. I'm putting this in the chat so that you all have an opportunity to get the, and you can also access the website you can access the clearinghouse from the jumpstart.org website as well. So you can get it that way. Put that in there.
Julie, if you're still there, have you tried using any of the NGPF middle school level activities? Okay, because I know that they're just so well organized, and there's a lot of great resources out there to supplement in with it. But I just know that that's a real good go-to.
Yeah, a lot of folks. Thank you all. So I think that we still have, I think we're at 3 more minutes.
Amelia's watching that clock. She's got it. That's good.
I'm just watching. We actually, used our time. I'm happy that we were able to fill the space, and I didn't know that we would go all the way. I thought we were gonna run a little shorter, but I'm glad that we were
Are you
able.
telling me I'm long-winded, Amina? Is that what it is?
No, I felt like it was me. I hope that this is, I definitely feel like I hope that this has served you all and that you've been able to learn just a little bit more, especially about who we are as Jumpstart, what the works that we're committed to, and especially as educators looking at this initiative of Check Your School. Joel is doing an amazing job of spearheading and being an advocate out in the field and spreading the good word about Check Your School. And I think it's one of the most important works that we're doing as a part of Jumpstart, because getting the word out that you can actually advocate for more in your schools and let us know what's happening there, what you need, so that it is a resource to us as to how to field information in different areas of the country that are needing and looking for more of this information. So,
And Amina, one more thing we would be
remiss.
really missing out, especially for elementary teachers. If you go onto our website, please apply for the NEC. The National Educators Conference is the premier financial literacy conference in the country. And if you get when you get a scholarship, your cost of the conference is covered. The only thing that you have to cover is your transportation to get there. And this year it's in Arizona. So looking forward to it. The application is online now. Please, again, if you have questions on that, let me know and I'm more than happy to help you with that too.
Joel and Amina, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Right on the button. And I'm going to stop recording now, guys, while they're finishing up their survey. And the next session starts at 1:40.
Well, thank you.
Julie, if you're still out there, if you go to the